Bro, I'm reaching out to the African community. Why don't y'all like us? Because when I be at work and I be trying to talk to the African people, it always seems like they be like looking at me funny or side-eyeing me. And at first I was thinking maybe they just don't understand me that well. Maybe they're not well acquainted with the way we speak or something. I don't know. But somebody brought it to my attention that they just don't like African American people. And I didn't believe it at first. But then I started noticing certain little things. One of my coworkers was like, if you notice, they always cool with the white people. They love white people. I'm like, no, I don't think it's that. Like, there's no way they like white people more than they like us. That don't even make sense.
So welcome back to my channel, Yano Show. KE. I just appreciate you for just tuning in on my channel. So guys, the reason why Africans hate on these black Americans. And we see that they say that black Americans say that the reason why Africans hate on them is because they prosper in a land whereby people have the perspective like Africans. We say that they're saying this because when they went there in America, there were much of racism and they prosper and they have now able to be loved there in America. And unlike here in Africa, whereby they don't like them because some of saying because of their prosperity, they prosper there in diaspora. So back to you. What is your thought on this story? Do Africans hate these black Americans, or what the main reason why they hate black Americans? Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share.
So yes, we're already black living in America. That's for sure. That's for sure. And not even what we're gonna say. There were already black people living in America, and then more of them were brought with slavery. They were brought in Brazil. I mean, taken to Brazil, taken in different part of South America and all those. We know that. I know that for sure. So nobody is forcing you. Nobody is saying that. Yeah. But to say that we are not the same, but you're living in America with white people who do not even treat you properly. Are you guys the same? But you have to live in the same country. You have to abide by the rule. You have to deal with the nonsense every single day. You have to live with fear every single day. But it's the difference. Instead, you like I've been asking people to explain to me what they mean when they say we are not the same. What do you mean? Do you mean physically we are not the same? What do you mean? I would love somebody to explain that to me one day. But I have never gotten an explanation when it comes to people who like to say that African and African American are not the same. What do you mean? If you want to talk about when it comes to culture and because of where you have been living, yeah, I understand. But if you want to say physically, you are even more ignorant than I thought that you were. You are. Because you do know that Black people are the most diversified people in the planet. In every type of black person you find in America, you find the same type of people all around Africa. All around Africa. For extreme dark skin to extreme light skin. I'm not even talking about albino. I'm just talking about extreme dark skin and to extreme white skin. The clear skin, light skin. The same way with the ice color. You find all that in Africa naturally without being mixed with anything. So, that's what we say. Education is very important, It's very, when people are talking about that, people are just taking it as for granted. Education is very important because when you're not educated, you start talking about certain things, you just sound very, very backward. Like, it sounds very sad and pathetic. Because, like I said, nobody's forced to do anything. Nobody force anyone to do anything. Stay where you feel comfortable. At the end of the day, you build America. So, it only makes sense that you're not going to get up. All of you are not going to get up just leaving that to those people who oppress you, who continue to oppress you until today. But at the same time, if you're tired to fight, if you just to get a break and to get to know that you can have a better life somewhere else, you know you have an option. A lot of people don't have that option. A lot of people don't have it. Because even today when we are talking about Chinese, white people living in Africa, it's only a matter of time. And they know it. And they're scared now, they're shaking in their boots that they will have to leave. They will have to leave. But when it comes to you, nobody can ask you to leave. Nobody will be able to ask you to leave. It will not even make sense. Another thing that I believe that a lot of people are focusing on, I want to talk about the situation between black American and black Africans, is that you feel like you're the only one who suffer. But those people who were taken into slavery, where were they from? They were from families. So there are people who lost the mother, the father, the daughter, the son, the grandson, the granddaughter, the uncle, the auntie. Do you imagine the pain? Knowing that your children are taken, you don't know where they're taken by force, and later on, people start understanding what was happening, understanding what was happening. Do you imagine what it is to live with that, know that they took your child to go and treat them that way? And at the same time, life was no, how to say that, paradise in Africa either. We were going through the same treatment. Many Africans. And then after that, we had colonization, which I always say was the little border of slavery, because people were tortured, killed, forced to work for free and all those things. So it was the same thing, except it was in the motherland. It was in the motherland. But it was the same thing. So do you know how many people were destroyed? As a mother, where, for example, maybe parents are living there, they only have one son. And overnight, they took their son away. Do you think that they will survive? When those two parents died, why would they going to leave behind? Nothing. Nothing. And there were many cases like that. There were cases where people left themselves to die because of the pain, because of the heartbreak. So that's what they say. Education is important, because even though many years back, the relationship between Black American and Black African was really, really strained. Now things are way better because of the education. Because a lot of people understood that they needed to educate themselves, whether it was in America or in the continent. Because until today, even in the continent, we have a lot of people who are ignorant about a lot of things. But none of them will actually look down on African American, even the ignorant one. Because at least they have that little knowledge when it comes to what happened and how many African Americans found themselves outside Africa and how their life was. They also know how the life of the father, the grandfather, the great-grandfather was in the continent with colonization. My great-grandfather, I didn't know it. I got to know my great-grandmother, but I didn't know my great-grandfather was forced to fight for the British. When I say forced, like it was forced, like nobody asked him, like it was, you do that, they kill you. You go and fight for them, risking your life, you're not getting paid, nothing. It was forced to fight. So it was a forced labor, what even worse than forced labor. But when he was there, they did some experiment on him. As a result, he didn't have any more intimacy with his wife when he came back. It was a good thing that they have 2 kids. When he was leaving, they were just very young. They were very young. So they only have 2 kids. So if they didn't have those kids, that means I probably won't be sitting there today talking to you. So because of those 2 kids that they have, notably my grandmother, that I'm here today. They destroy his life, and he never get any compensation, any They never made any. I don't know how to say that. So when he came back, he knew that they injected things in him. He knew that he was not the same person who left before the war. He knew something was wrong in his body. And because he was not sure 100% what it was, he told the wife about what happened. And he told the wife that because of that, they will not be able to be intimate anymore. And she accepted. And they stayed like that. The remaining of his life would have been intimate. They were living like a brother and sister. A few years later, he died. So this is what they did to me in the continent. There's many other people where the people were killed. A whole village of people were killed. They will cut their head and they'll put it on the stick and they will line them outside the village for people to see, to traumatize people and to terrorize people. These are just few little examples. Millions and millions were killed after being tortured in Congo by Leopold, the king of Belgium. I can sit here until tomorrow after tomorrow, giving you name of the atrocity that was done to African in the continent. So it's not like we have an easy life. And we never stop fighting, just like you. We never stop fighting. So that's why it's very funny when I'm hearing people saying they're trying to give credit to white people they abolish slavery. But white people never abolished slavery. White people never abolished colonization. They only signed some documents when everything was said and done because they realized that they were not able to continue doing what they were doing. They will not be possible anymore. So that's why every time that they ended one thing, they started another one. Slavery, they did not end slavery. African American never stopped fighting. And at some point, they were no longer making money. The slave master were no longer making money. They were living in fear that the plantation could be attacked any moment. And because of all that, those who were burned, plantation were burned, slave master were killed. With that fear and all those, that's how they decided that it was better to stop because they were no longer making as much profit that they were making at the beginning. Just to say that, as African, we look at you as one person. But anyone who feel like we're not part of it, you're fine. It's okay. It's okay. But don't try to switch things and saying that it's from us. It's not from us. It's from you.
Donald Trump is the first black president.
Amen.
Because he's the first one that has actually addressed issues in the black community. Like, Obama didn't do it.
He said it, not me.
I mean, in my lifetime, I've gone through Clinton, Bush, and Obama. Neither of them have done anything.
They certainly haven't advocated for responsibility and taking ownership of your own life and knowing that you are an individual and that in America, you have freedom. We defined you as free.
They didn't even put America first. Yeah, guys. Donald J. Trump puts America first. So you gotta love that, man.
Awesome.
Got to.
You guys, this event is absolutely incredible. What's happening in this country, what's happening here in the heart of Los Angeles, California. We are flipping California red. And we are taking America back for red, white, and blue. All colors, all flavors, all races, all religions. It's all e pluribus unum, from the many one. We are one people, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For all. 4 more years.
4 more years for Trump.
Y'all don't like black Americans, specifically African Americans, because we don't give a fuck. We don't like something that you did, we literally cancel you and we move the fuck on. We do not care who you are. Like, y'all really just don't like us because we don't give a fuck. There's always something negative to say. There's only 2 things that y'all always say. 1, we have no culture, which we all know that's a fucking lie. We are a global influence. Secondly, y'all bring up our gun laws here and how kids die because we don't have strict gun laws. I've literally seen that written into like UK's people comedy skits. Are y'all okay? Are y'all fucking well? Y'all hate us so much that y'all are willing to talk about children dying here as if we have control over the gun laws. We literally have the most influence in our country and the least amount of power. Like, I don't understand where the hate comes from. And God forbid we bring up the history of us as African Americans in this country. Y'all be like, well, y'all aren't really Africans. Do y'all have fucking Google? Or do we just live like rent free in y'all's mind so much that it's literally just word vomit? Y'all just say shit.
Bro, I'm reaching out to the African community. Why don't y'all like us? Because when I be at work and I be trying to talk to the African people, it always seems like they be like looking at me funny or side-eyeing me. And at first I was thinking maybe they just don't understand me that well. Maybe they're not well acquainted with the way we speak or something. I don't know. But somebody brought it to my attention that they just don't like African American people. And I didn't believe it at first. But then I started noticing certain little things. One of my coworkers was like, if you notice, they always cool with the white people. They love white people. I'm like, no, I don't think it's that. Like, there's no way they like white people more than they like us. That don't even make sense. I'll never forget. I was walking down this long pathway at my job. It's like a long pathway. And I see somebody just running this way like super, super fast. And it was an African. And I'm sitting there watching this, and she's a beautiful African lady, like super beautiful. Like, but she running this way. I'm looking like, what's she running from? It's a white dude behind her chasing her, and they both just laughing and giggling. I'm like, ain't that the same girl I was just trying to talk to yesterday, and she act like she couldn't understand nothing I was saying? How she having so much fun talking to this white man, but she can't be cool with me? Like, that's insane. Like, why don't y'all like us? Like, what is it that y'all don't like about us? I thought we was cool. And then as time went on, more and more, like, down the line, I'm starting to peep, like, this is a reoccurring pattern. Like, it keep on happening. I'm starting to peep that ain't no Africans trying to talk to me. They all act funny towards me, but they do be messing with the white people. And I'm like, bruh, that's a real thing. Like, I used to hear people say it, but I didn't really believe it. Like, I'm not the type of person that just hears something and just believe it automatically. Like, I gotta see for myself. And once I really seen it, like, this same African lady I was just trying to talk to yesterday, not being flirtatious, not being weird or nothing, like regular conversation, just trying to, you know what I mean, help make the day go by, like, not even saying nothing bad or nothing. This same lady who wouldn't even give me a conversation was being chased down by a white man, laughing and giggling. I couldn't believe it. Why don't y'all like us? I understand we're a little bit Americanized and everything like that, and we're a little bit brainwashed, and, you know, we can be ignorant at times, but every African American is not like that. I don't like to see myself as an ignorant person who runs around starting I don't do that. You know what I mean? I don't do that at all. So I don't understand. It's very frustrating. I don't even want to talk about it no more. But hey, have y'all ever experienced that?
New day, my people. How y'all feeling? Thugged out? Me too. I just drank all my coffee. You drank all my soda. If you know, you know. Anywho, I could have been a fake AB and came on here with my empty cup like, cheers. But I ain't gonna do that because I want to keep it real with y'all. You feel me? Y'all my people. Moving on. So I was sitting back thinking like, damn. Because there was one point where I wanted to go to Africa. Like, I was going to move to Africa. Couldn't nobody tell me shit. And that was back when I thought that, you know, we was all from Africa or whatever. But even after I realized, like, oh, maybe all of us not, I was like, nah, I ain't going nowhere. This is my land, right? But during my research, during the whole 2-3 years I researched how to expatriate to Africa, I kept coming across all of these videos of Black American expats who had repatriated. And it made me realize, like, damn, they just as fucked up, indoctrinated, and pulled from culture as we are. And I feel like one of the biggest reasons a lot of Africans, like as a collective, obviously not all of them, but a lot of Africans as a collective don't like Black Americans is because we did what they couldn't do in a land filled with people who look like them, which is create a culture from scratch. And when they went over to the UK, they have communities based on their tribes and where they're from, but they didn't rebrand, reinvent, have to create a culture from scratch. They're divided in a way that we as Black Americans aren't, because we can't necessarily afford to be. We have our divisions, but you look at BLM protests, you understand? When it's time to come together, it don't matter that you Iwa and I'm Zulu. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not in the UK, so I don't truly know. But based on Blacks in the UK, this is their division while there. Basically, the tribal issues from the homeland travel over. So it's hard for them to come together and unify because they still have strong communities based in tribal, you know, knowings and being from the homeland. Because our ancestry and our culture and our rituals and, you know, our ethnic practices were stripped from us in this country, we had to recreate, reinvent our own culture, our own ways, our own rituals, our own sounds, our own music, our own fashion, our own everything, right? And it bonded us in a way that they could never really understand or grasp because they didn't have to go through that. Like, even when they come over here in modern times, they separate themselves by communities. Nigerian community, the Senegalese community, the Ghanaian community. You know what I'm saying? They separate themselves in that way. And although Black Americans are territorial, we're not tribal. We understand that we're all of the same tribe, which is Black people. We understand that it's the white people, it's the Black people, and then there's those in between. But we understand, like, although we're not the same, we're always going to be categorized as one and the same. And then, you know, sometimes we'll pull from the stuff we see over there, but then we'll make it our own over here. And I realized that irritates them to their soul because they couldn't do that. They couldn't do that. Not only that, when they come over here, They feel like they better than us because they know they tribe. They know their grandfather, 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 grandfather. They know their ancestry. They know their lineage. They know who they are, where they come from. But even with us not knowing where we come from, we stand strong in who we are. We stand strong in who we invented ourselves to be. And that, coming to that conclusion as a whole overall, made me realize the reason Black Americans are not welcome anywhere is because we belong here. We are from a tribe of people that were here. Some of us did come over on boats. Don't get me wrong. I've said this before. I'm not saying that because there are people who 10, 15 years ago had great-great-grandparents who remembered being enslaved and who remembered hearing the stories passed down through the generations of slaves of how they came over here. So I'm not saying that people didn't come over here, period. I'm not saying that. I'm not one of those people who think that the slave trade was fake in no way, shape, or form. I know it happened. I feel that every day with every fiber of my being. I feel it. What I'm saying is there's a vast majority of us who are indigenous to these lands, right? And that's why, as a collective, globally, Black Americans are hated. There's a reason that America, when it became America, was able to skyrocket to the top as the HBIC, right? When it came to countries. That's why we, for so long, were the country to look at, the country to be. Everybody was striving to get here. And it's not because the people who came over and colonized these lands were just that great, that smart. We all know by now they were the degenerates of the European countries that basically pushed them out, like, get the fuck on. You know what I mean? They were the degenerates. So it's not like they had the wherewithal, the smarts, the ingenuity to come and create this empire we now know as America. Now, don't get me wrong. I fully understand that Britain funded the expedition to bring all of their degenerates on some Fidel Castro shit to this new land to see if it was able to, number one, be conquered, number two, had resources, like real resources, not just off initial, oh, we think we saw, you know what I'm saying? And number three, they wanted them to start building up this land in order to start sending over some of the nobles, the noble families, which are high class, you know, up in stature type families. I get that, right? I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying the people that came over on the first wave initially were the workers, were the lower class, were the poor, were the degenerates, were the ones that they were saying, yeah, go over there, clear it up, clean it up, and we'll come with the money. And hell, even the people who was running Britain at that time, that country was full of pestilence, crime, and abuse against the most vulnerable, their women and children. Because these were people that we had to teach how to wash their ass with soap. These are people we had to teach, yes, you have to brush your teeth to stay clean, to keep your teeth, right? These are people we had to teach how to store meat. They was eating spoiled, rotten meat. These are people we had to teach, don't touch that pig, especially when it's pussing and oozing it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, these are people who were animals. Yeah. Marrying children. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And you think they had the wherewithal to build an empire from scratch? It was because it was already thriving. It was already that girl. They just took it, stripped it down, and redressed it. I just had to get that off my chest. Somebody needs to hear that. It was all clicking to me like, huh. Oh, that's why they can't stand us. In my Cardi B voice. As much as I can make my voice Cardi B-ish. My voice ain't that soft. In conclusion, I say all of this to say, it's okay, baby. It's okay that they don't like us. It's okay if you try to take a trip over there and find out we're not truly welcome like they claim and like they're propagating. Like, oh, come home, come home. for a lot of Black Americans. It does not feel welcoming. It does not feel like home. And you know why? It's not your home. It's your cousin. It's kin. But it's not your family. And that's okay. That's okay. We just got to get through this war. Once we get through this war, what I like to refer to as the holy war, because it is spiritual warfare at the end of the day, what's ours will be ours again. It'll come back into the rightful hands, the rightful owners. It always does. Universal law, baby.
Africans in Africa treat white people so much better than they treat Black people. So I just saw another video from another creator, and she is an African woman. She did not tell one lie in her video. Let me tell you how I knew this was true. A couple years ago, I went to Zanzibar with a lot of my friends. We hired a guide. We were just having a time. Most of the time that we had been in Zanzibar, we were with our guide until we got to Nungwi Beach. So at the time, me and all of my friends are Hilton Diamond members, meaning we have the highest status of all of the guests there. It means that we come and we stay and we spend a lot of money in Hilton. Now, at this hotel, I think that we had a drink package. I can't remember the specifics, but the drinks were free. That's important to note. So we're all sitting at the bar, we're ordering drinks, and before the bartender starts to make our drinks, I actually give him a really big tip. And $40 is a pretty good big tip for this area. And obviously you can see that me and all of my friends are Black. After we had all placed our orders and gave this man a tip, another guest of the hotel came right after we had made our order, came and sat down. Of course, he was Caucasian, and the bartender made his drink before he made any of ours. No tip, no nothing. But this is the first time that my experience has actually been validated.
Some are saying that the African people dislike so-called African Americans because they reject their African heritage. Why would African people think that so-called African Americans do not know where they come from? It is not just African people that think that so-called African American people do not know their heritage. You all are the confused ones. Anyone thinking that they are a color or a nationality are confused. Many so-called African Americans know their heritage. They know that they are not African, they are not Black, and they are not American. They are not a nationality. We are all created in the image of God, and our God is not a color nor a nationality. So don't get angry because we would rather follow the Spirit of God rather than listen to a man tell us who we are. Our souls know. Our souls have been around since the beginning, and it lets us know who we are. We're not confused. We know who we are. We are gods and goddesses, not kings and queens. We live forever.
Y'all ever wonder why Africans don't really like us? Well, I was married to an African.
No, and we don't give a fuck. And we can tell you was married to an African.
I think this is a conversation that needs to be had. So I was scrolling on TikTok the other day and I came across this boy video, and he was basically saying, why don't Africans like Black Americans? He was trying to talk to this African girl at his job, but she ignored him. But he did see that she was talking to the white people. So he got to wonder, why don't Africans like Black people? Let me just go ahead and say, and let me be the one to say, it's not that Africans don't like Black people. It's the other way around, sadly. Black people don't like Africans. And what do I mean by that, you ask? Because when making fun of Africans was a thing not too long ago, y'all had everything in the world to say about us. Y'all called us all types of names. We were called African booty scratchers. We were told that we climb trees. We sleep with lions and tigers. We walk barefooted. We don't have no shoes. We live in huts. We eat goat. Although we do eat goat, So all these stereotypes, so on, all these very different varieties of stereotypes that made us so uncomfortable that we started to hate ourselves. And it's so crazy because we were never spoken to like that by the white man. They never made us feel less than ourselves. I could never just understand the hatred because we're literally the same color. You're no better than me and we bleed the same. And then they say, I'm not African, I'm Black American. You be your own kind. Then you call them African American and they hate it. They don't want to be associated with Africans. So they say, I'm American or I'm Cherokee. They made it seem like being African was a crime. It was just recently that the Americans started showing love to Africans. And that's just because the celebrities started showing love first. So you know what that means. Everybody hopped on the bandwagon. It started from wearing dashikis to listen to African music to now eating African food. We're finally accepted in y'all eyes. So Africans never hated Black Americans. It was always Black Americans that hated Africans.
I've seen a lot of Black Americans asking why Africans hate them, and I'm going to answer the question for you. Number one, this American ego transcends race. It doesn't matter if you're white American, brown American, or Black American. There seems to be like this ego that makes you think that you are the main character wherever you go.
Okay, let's address this first and foremost. Number one, family, I want you to notice the premise in what she's starting the video with. Why Africans hate you. This is why. So they do hate us. That's what she's acknowledging. She's acknowledging they do hate us. Okay, she's pretty much just saying it. But this is the reason why they hate you. I don't want that to go over your head. Number two, let's address this whole main character thing. Because I hear this is a talking point of a lot of them. And a lot of them, it reeks of jealousy. It reeks of actual hatred, like she said. This whole thing where we think we're the main characters, and it's funny they say that because they make us the main character in all of their videos. Damn near all videos, family, are talking about Black Americans. Damn near all of their podcasts, damn near all of their talk shows. It's going to be something about what Black Americans are doing, what's going on in Black American spaces, what's going on in hip hop, what's going on amongst Black American culture, the gossip, the celebrities. It's always about Black Americans. Even when Americans interview them, globally, go to their homelands, we always seem to come up. And it's always something negative. Black Americans don't know where they're from. Black Americans think they're the main character. Black Americans don't know geography. It's just something random. Black Americans are dumb. Black Americans are stupid, especially coming from Britain, where she's from. This is a part of their culture over there, making Black Americans the main character. So here's some advice to the diaspora. If you don't want us to be the main character, stop talking about us so much. Stop talking about us so much. And here's the reality as well. The reason why you feel as if we're the main character is because we are the main character. And we're the main character because we're living within the cultural spaces that we created. We wake up talking about what's going on amongst Black Americans and within our culture. Okay, we don't wake up talking about other people's culture. So, of course, if we're talking about our culture, we're going to be the main characters within our culture. If we're talking about our life, we're going to be the main character within our life. If we're talking about our struggle, we're the main characters within our struggle, not you. See, y'all want to be the main character, but you want to be the main character in our story, in our spaces, in our cultures. And it doesn't work like that, Queen. It just doesn't. But let's go ahead. Let's break some more down.
And to you South Africans, as a Black American, because I don't even know if I could say African American, I feel like y'all would just love for us to take the African off of African American. In the words of Joe Jackson, we should have never fed your ass for 25 cents a day.
Africans do not like Black Americans. So this is a fact.
No, it's an opinion, and a very asinine one at that. Because Africa is a continent with 54 countries and over 1.2 billion people. A statement such as Africans don't like African Americans is a very ludicrous statement because one, is perpetuating this narrative that there is beef and animosity between Africans and African Americans. And two, what that is doing is it's generalizing an entire continent based off of the actions of a couple of African hairdressers who live in America. And this is coming from someone who has traveled to 4 out of 54 of the African countries. Okay, so I went to Tanzania and I was treated like royalty. People were bowing at my feet. I felt like I was some type of long lost queen who had finally returned to the land. Let's talk about Ghana. Ghana was one of the most beautiful countries that I ever visited. I had a family who opened up their home to me. They were feeding me 3 times a day. We were living by the beach. They were doing so much to just make me feel welcomed and loved. So this is for all of my African American people. Go to Africa. Go to the different countries that are there. Learn some of the languages, learn some of the cultures there, because this is the thing. There are more similarities than differences between Africans and African Americans. And we need to kill this narrative. We need to break the plane and start the conversation so that we can get to know each other and enjoy the beautiful continent that we call the motherland, Africa, Azania. Okay? Peace and blessings, y'all.
As I read more about European colonization, it's really clinging to my mind that y'all are not mad enough about colonization. Y'all are not, like, anybody. You can tell Latin America, North America, Australians, Africans, Asian people, everywhere. Y'all are not mad enough about what Europeans did to your country, your city, your states, your nations, your continents. Slavery is crazy, bro. Europeans are so violent. They had 2 world wars in the span of 20 years. That ain't never happened before in human history, but you had 2 world wars. For what? For what? For what? I know it's supposed to be, there's a reason we're not taught how bad colonization was in schools. Because why? The victors of history, they write history. Europeans won. They won multiple times and they keep on winning. They're still actively colonizing different nations to this day. Example being how Haiti still has to pay back France for their own revolution. Haiti had independence and they have to pay back France because France was enslaving Haiti. What? European governments, European companies coming into Africa and making sure that they still have their slaves to build their fucking companies. What? U.S. nonprofits coming into Africa to impose anti-LGBTQ plus laws. There's a current day colonization happening to this day, and people are not mad enough about what happened to their countries. Maybe I'm just not seeing it. But the more I read, the more I see how every single thing that happened as soon as a European man woman, they, them, I don't give a fuck. A European person stepped into my country, everything went downhill.
Hey, why everybody mad at us? It seemed like everybody is mad at Black Americans right now. Just go to my comment section and read. Everybody's pissed off at us for one reason or another, which is crazy, right? For once in American history, Black people are not the butt of every joke, right? For once in American history, Black people aren't the primary target of something, and everybody is pissed off. So fellow Black people, fellow foundational Black Americans, bask in this glory and live it up. Because yes, for once in American history, we are not the primary target of everything. Every joke, every situation, everything. We always the primary target except for right now, and we got to live it up and bask in this beautiful glory.